To the wall! Sakis! To Queen! A record-breaking 14-time world champion. You know this signature strut, the unmatched confident her spot at the very top of the mountain. But behind the sequined robes and the larger-than-life persona is the story of Ashley Flair. Story packed with personal heartbreak, career-threatening injuries, and the crushing weight of a legacy. This is the truth you haven't heard. It's the story of a woman who, at her lowest, felt like she was failing at everything and had to rebuild her life with the whole world watching. Number 1, the weight of a crown. From the second Ashley Flair stepped into a wrestling ring, she wasn't just another rookie. She was a Flair. As the daughter of the legendary Nature Boy Ric Flair, she carried an expectation that most people couldn't even imagine. She was instantly compared to her father, a man who spent 40 years becoming a global icon. She's described that pressure as both a massive burden and her biggest motivator. She wasn't just chasing championships. She was chasing a goal she was related to by blood. Her path into wrestling was also deeply personal, driven by a promise to honor her late younger brother, Reed, who had always dreamed of becoming a pro wrestler. That mission gave her a powerful sense of purpose, but it also piled under pressure. She felt she was doing it for her brothers, who she said had struggled under the weight of their father's fame. Before wrestling, Ashley was a gifted athlete in her own right, a star volleyball player who became a personal trainer. But WWE was a different world. Suddenly, the lifelong athlete had to learn how to be a performer, to embrace the diva image, which just didn't feel natural. So, she channeled all that uncertainty into creating Charlotte Flair, an on-screen persona who was everything she wanted to be, especially in moments when self-doubt crept in. Number 2, the rise and the crack. Her rise wasn't just fast, it was historic. After debuting in NXT in 2013, she won the NXT Women's Championship just a year later. That was just the beginning. On the main roster, she became the final Divas Champion, the very first Raw Women's Champion, and a pillar of WWE's Women's Evil. She racked up more championships than any woman in the company's history. She's the one who ended Asuka's historic undefeated streak at WrestleMania and was one of the first women to ever headline the show of shows. For a while, she seemed untouchable, building an incredible undefeated streak of 16 straight pay-per-view victories. But as the list of accomplishments grew, the cracks in the armor started to appear. The physical toll of performing at that level is brutal. Behind the scenes, Ashley was battling major injuries nobody knew about. In 2018, she knocked her teeth out during a match on an overseas tour, requiring serious dental work. That same year, she faced an even scarier health crisis, suffering from silicone poisoning from breast implant complications. These weren't just bumps and bruisers. They were serious health issues that forced her out of the ring to heal, both physically and mentally. And the turmoil wasn't just physical. While Charlotte Flair was on top of the world, Ashley Flair's personal life was turbulent. Her first marriage ended in 2013, and her second, to fellow wrestler Bram, ended in divorce just 2 years later in 2015. These struggles, happening mostly away from the cameras, added another layer of stress to her already demanding life. Number 3, controversies, and resilience. As her star got brighter, the backstage scrutiny intensified. Charlotte has always been a polarizing figure in the locker room, with a reputation for a strong personality that sometimes rubs people the wrong way. Reports have long pointed to friction with peers, most famously with Becky Lynch, where a chaotic title exchange on SmackDown led to a real-life backstage confrontation. It fueled a perception that Flair could be difficult to work with, sometimes more focused on her own spot than on elevating others. That tension seemed to hit a peak in the spring of 2025 during her feud with the WWE Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton. The rivalry leading into WrestleMania 41 got intensely personal. Backstage chatter suggested there was already bad blood after a previous segment where Flair had supposedly steamrolled Stratton. Their on-screen promos became notoriously heated, with reports claiming the lines between script and reality were blurred, creating significant backstage awkwardness. Yet, in a true mark of a professional, Flair still put over Stratton's talent, and the two had their match at WrestleMania, proving she could set aside personal conflict to get the job done in the ring. The toughest chapter of her story started in late 2023. During a match against the Charlotte suffered a catastrophic knee injury, tearing her ACL, MCL, and meniscus all at once. It was the kind of injury that ends careers, and it put her on the shelf for over a year, forcing her to miss WrestleMania 40. The physical rehab was hell, but it was the battle she was fighting privately that truly brought her to her lowest point. While she was sidelined, her marriage to fellow superstar Andrade El Idolo was falling apart. The pressure of two intense, travel-heavy careers and the constant public spotlight finally took its toll. In the midst of her grueling injury rehab in 2024, the two separated, and the news of their divorce became public. The combined weight of a shattered knee and a shattered marriage was almost too much to bear. In interviews and posts in 2025, Ashley Flair finally let the world see her vulnerability. She admitted she felt like she was feeling. She spoke about the deep embarrassment of another public divorce, made worse by the constant comparisons to her famous father. The news of her divorce broke right around the time of her triumphant return at the 2025 Royal Rumble. A day that should have been a celebration of her comeback was overshadowed by her private pain being put on public display. But that's when she found a new kind of strength. She realized the fight to hide her struggles was over. In her own words, talking about it was like getting a massive weight off her chest. For the first time, she truly let the world see that it's okay not to be okay. If Charlotte's story of resilience inspires you, and you want more deep dives into the real lives of wrestling's biggest icons, do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let us know in the comments what part of her journey hits home for you. Charlotte Flair's career is defined by so much more than 14 world titles. It's defined by an almost unbelievable resilience. She walked into a world carrying the weight of the biggest name in the business. And instead of crumbling, she carved out a legacy that stands on its own. She's battled through career-ending injuries, public controversies, and personal heartbreaks that would have shattered most people. Her latest comeback wasn't just a redemption story for the character on your screen. For the first time, it felt like a redemption story for Ashley Flair, the woman She found her worth again, and now she stands in the worth, showing everyone that true strength isn't about never falling. It's about how you get back up, put the robe on, and walk to that ring even stronger than before.